Akim and Dauda have been close friends since childhood, and they are both farmers. They always do everything together and are always seen together. Some people even call them twins because they both have a very dark and shiny skin. Their farms are beside each other and their crops usually grow at the same time. Since they always work together, it's almost impossible to see Hakim without seeing Dauda. They always go to the city to sell their farm produce. They believe the people who comes to buy in the village cheat them, so instead of selling to them, they load their goods and travel to the city. They usually spend about a month there before returning to start cultivating again for the next season. Then one year, they had a massive harvest. Everything worked out well, and they headed to the city as usual. But right from the start of the journey, they faced many challenges. Government officials kept stopping
Almost
them.
as if they all planned it. They were even delayed for 3 days at one checkpoint.
They faced all kind of delays until they finally got to the city. A trip that normally took them 2 days ended up taking 7 days. By the time they arrived, they were already frustrated. They stayed with a friend in the city and planned to start selling the next day. But this time, things were different. They were chased around and told to join a union because there was a new policy in the city. Anyone who wanted to sell raw food had to belong to a union. They did not want to join a union because of the process, so they had to sell in places where the union would not disturb them. That made sales very slow. Normally, they will finish selling in 3 weeks, but after 2 months, they are still trying to sell. Even though they had more products these times, they believe they should still have finished selling everything within 4 weeks. Eventually, after 2 months and 15 days, they sold everything and they didn't make as much profit as they expected. The longer they stayed, the more expensive it became to live in the city. At the end, they calculated that if they had sold to the wholesalers who came to buy in the village, they would have had more money and still save time. They felt unhappy, but still, they decided to return home. By the time they got back, the rain had reduced, the ground was getting hard, and making it became almost impossible. Their feelings of guilt and sadness only increased. A subtle disagreement came up between them. Akim did not want to go through the stress of working again. Since the soil was too hard, he felt they should rest for the year. Even though they didn't make as much as expected in the city, they still had enough to live on. What really pained them was that their hard work felt like a waste of time, and they could have sold at home, saved energy, and have time to relax before the next
Now
farming
they had
season.
spent time and energy selling at higher price only to lose the gain to unnecessary expenses.
Dauda, on the other hand, still wanted to work. He believed that even if they did not plant as much and the harvest will come later than usual, at least they will have something to sell. Akim did not agree with him, and Dauda also did not see things from Akim's perspective. Eventually, they each decided to do what they felt was right. Dauda went back to the farm, while Akim decided to rest and wait for the rain to come again. It wasn't easy for Dauda. At one point, he almost regretted his decision, but he had already started and there was no turning back. The following year, the cost of living in the village went up. The government had started a road project there, which made everything more expensive. The money Akim thought would carry him through the year had reduced drastically. When it was time for farmers to sell, the other crops were not yet ready, so he had to wait for the next round of wholesalers to come to the village. Since he could not travel to the city again, he just waited. But he still had hope, especially as food was becoming scarce. Akim was confused. He had expected his money to last till the next season, but now it was not enough. Even though he and Dauda were still best friends, Akim began to regret not agreeing with him earlier. Dauda often told him how his crops were growing and would soon be ready for harvest, and Akim wished he had followed him back to the farm. Are you feeling guilty that you did not pray when you are supposed to? Maybe you did not study the Bible when you planned to, and your reason was valid. Maybe you did something wrong and now you feel guilty. Or you are supposed to wake up early and pray, but you woke up late and now the day feels ruined. Let me tell you, start from where you are. Yeah, it feels like it's already too late, but still start. Praying after waking up late is hard. but do something. Doing nothing is what makes you feel helpless. But if you still try, even when it's hard, you have something to fall back on. Eventually, Dauda sold his farm produce. He and Akim began preparing for the next farm season. But that year, Akim had to do menial jobs to survive because he had nothing left. Dauda helped him, of course, but he wanted to be careful with his own resources if he wanted them to last. This brings to mind what the 10 virgins said, so that it will not be insufficient for both of us. Rather, go and buy yours. Feeling guilty and unhappy about a situation doesn't change anything. What changes the narrative is the action that you take, and it is when you take action that you begin to see the result. Not in this story. The other harvest didn't come at the normal time, but it still came. In the same way, your result is tied to the timing of your action. The more you delay starting, the more you delay seeing results. Thank you for listening to the end. Now tell me in the comment section what other lessons you can learn from this story. And until next time, this is Story Time with Esther.